Cleaning up the mess has already begun.
Strong winds pushed the oil and tar onto the Galveston coast overnight. The water splashing against the seawall was black in places, and all around there was the thick black crude that filled the air with the smell of a refinery. Despite that, many fishermen continued to cast their lines into the murky water. Dan Munoz was fishing all night long, and he said he could tell when the oil started washing ashore.
Well, it was pretty fair until just about a couple hours ago. The tar ball started really rolling in with the current, and now the wind's picking up, and it'll really bring it in now.
The oil and the smell were too much for other fishermen. Jane Lewicki said it's just awful, and she called it quits.
The oil kept coming in and would get all over our poles and our line, and there wasn't much sense in staying.
It's going to get worse before it gets better. There was a long stretch of oil 5 miles off the Galveston shore early Saturday morning, and it was headed straight for land. Tony Clark, CNN, Galveston.
Meanwhile, high winds and choppy seas have halted salvage operations on the tanker, which still contains several million gallons more of the crude oil. Work crews are waiting for the weather to improve to place booms around the spill as a barrier and then pump the oil and the water from the sea into the barges. Upon touring the area, Governor Mark White likened the cleanup efforts to planning for an invasion. With a Monday deadline approaching for filing protest on property tax appraisals, taxpayers all over the district are deciding whether their land and homes are valued too high and what they should do about it. Jim McNabb says one South Austin Neighborhood Association has decided what they're going to do.
As you squeezed into the standing room only emergency meeting of the Zilker Neighborhood Association today, you could easily see these property owners are serious, some fearing they may have to sell out to simply pay their taxes.
We have many people here in our neighborhood that live on fixed incomes.
But most are hacked off about their homes appraised as being worth less than the land they sit on.
We're here about the value of our land. Right. My land went from $4,000 to $23,000. That's what we're here.
The land is valued so high in this prime area between South Lamar and Barton Creek because valuations are based on what someone with big bucks would pay for it for commercial development. The houses don't matter.
This is exactly the type of situation that the homeowners are talking about, where developers will come in, buy up the land, and put in multifamily dwellings right next door or right across the street.
Tax attorney Jim Popp told the crowd this type of development is quite common.
Probably historical in any city that's growing. They're going to force out from the city, and there's going to be more and more development. It happens a lot in Houston.
In an effort to scale down the appraisals, the Neighborhood Association distributed about 1,000 protest forms throughout the area, and Pop told the residents how to fill them out.
It isn't an easy process when you go before the chief appraiser or the appraiser review board. It's not an easy process. You need some facts and figures. You need to have some reason as to why he's placed too high a value on your house other than simply it's overvalued.
The association will hand-deliver the stack of forms on the deadline Monday. Do they expect to have an impact? One member said, "There's a time to fight and a time to shut up. It's time to fight. It's our only chance." Jim McNabb, 24 Action News.
What may be the last meeting of the State Board of Education as it's now constituted ended in mild protest today. 4 members of the current elected body said the board was trying to shape public school policy rather than leaving it to the new appointed board. Board Chairman Joe Kelly Butler was singled out for especially harsh criticism in a letter signed by the protesters, but Butler said the incident didn't bother him.
They walked out, I didn't see them. They weren't here in the first place. You know, that's their privilege. They can have their own opinions about how they want to conduct themselves, and that's fine. I have no objection to that.
The rebels said the board had made recent policy decisions on compensatory bilingual kindergarten and vocational education that were contrary to the intent of the legislature. One Texas boy has died and another is in critical condition, both victims of a rare disease they may have contracted while swimming. Doctors say that 3-year-old Derek Leach of Irving died from amoebic meningoencephalitis, a disease which they suspect he got while swimming in Lake Grapevine. The second boy, 12-year-old Ben Wright of Uvalde, was hit by the same disease after swimming in the Frio River at Garner State Park. Although the park remains open tonight, the state has banned swimming in the river. Since 1977, there have been only 80 cases reported worldwide. Almost all were fatal. It was discovered 3 years ago, and still it's leaving doctors baffled. Acquired immune deficiency syndrome, or AIDS, is a condition that causes your body's normal defense mechanism to be broken down, leaving you susceptible to rare diseases. The AIDS scare has left many people afraid to donate blood, but Mary Sitt reports there's something you should know about blood centers.
Have you been exposed to anyone diagnosed with AIDS? No. Are you a Haitian immigrant?
25-year-old Scott Parker is donating blood for the first time here at the Blood Center, and he's going through a screening process that's designed to keep out donors who have AIDS or who might develop it. These last few questions of a 45-item medical questionnaire are specifically geared to detect signs of AIDS. It's the first part of a screening process that every donor must undergo. Parker won't get paid for the blood he donates. He's a volunteer who decided to give blood to ensure his pregnant wife would get free blood should she need it. Afterwards, Parker signs a release, stating he's read the fact sheets on AIDS the center puts out and saying he's not in any of the high-risk groups. Those groups include sexually active homosexual men, Haitian entrants to the United States, abusers of intravenous drugs. The director of the Blood Center, Trudell Green, says gay leaders here in Austin have been very cooperative in urging their community not to donate.
Yeah, it's the only system we've got right now, and I really feel that we're very conscientious in the questions that we ask and how we evaluate our donors. And if there's any question at all about whether they should donate or not, then we don't allow them to donate.
Once Parker passes the first screening, he gets a mini physical to check his vital signs, another test to see if Parker is physically capable of giving blood. Later, the donated blood undergoes 6 hours of laboratory testing, exams to check for syphilis, hepatitis, antibodies, and a virus that can leave babies deaf. There's still no test to screen out AIDS. The best thing blood centers can hope for is a new test in 12 to 18 months that will allow them to detect a cancer virus, which shows up in a large percentage of AIDS victims. But Green says current methods of screening out AIDS are working well here in Austin. The chances of you getting AIDS from a blood transfusion is less than 1 in a million. And Green wants to keep it that way. Mary Sitt, 24 Action News.
There were some foreign bodies floating down Town Lake today. Peter Jones will be with us live from Aquafest to explain when we come back.
Into this unclean world has come the Dirt Devil, a tireless fighter against the forces of dirt. Strong, yet lightweight, compact, yet powerful, with a revolving brush that cleans up dirt wherever it lurks, in the house, car, boat, or van. Dirt Devil, it's a little bit of heaven.
See the Dirt Devil for $59.95 at Austin Vacuum.
We're with you on 24 with you. We're with you on 24.
Come on, America, let's get together. 'Cause when we're with you, there's nothing better.
We're with you on 24 with you. We're with you on 24.
Feel the spirit young and old. We're going for the gold. We'll give you all we've got. This year we're red hot. It's magic day and night with every star in sight.
With you for fantasy, with you for laughter, with you to share your dreams and all that you're after. We're with you on 24 with you. We're with you on 24. We're with you on 24.
Well, we may not have seen much rain around here lately, but some folks down at Town Lake have found some water to help them celebrate. Peter Jones is standing by live on the shores of Town Lake to bring us the latest from Aquafest. Hello, Peter.
Pat, if you can tell, we've got a nice breeze blowing off the shores here at Town Lake, so while it may be a little bit hot, there is a nice cool breeze blowing off the lake, so tonight, country night should be absolutely stupendous. Now, as you know, one of the big events in Austin is the raft race. And I think, while there will be a lot of activity tonight, things really got hopping earlier today.
Many of them arrived in the high style of Arabian sheikhs. Yes, for this group, 9 a.m. was time for a patriotic happy hour. Those rumors we heard about a Ghostbusters raft proved true. But hey, get a load out of the skipper.
There are so many ghosts out here, we've got our work cut out for us, but hey, we ain't afraid of no ghosts, you know what I mean?
We'll trust you with the green grocer, Marion, but I don't know about green slime. As launching time neared, this young lady had a final request.
High understand. I've been a good girl, and I want a Mercedes. Please.
No one could tell us what Santa was doing down there. No matter, the race was on. Although in some cases, the rafts were riding the people. And in this latter-day version of Jonah and the Whale, I think the whale is winning. Now, this entry was nowhere near the finish line, but it would seem they've already struck it rich. Yes, there's oil in that there river.
Now, for you environmentalists, that really wasn't oil, that was water. And here with the results of that long race, I think some people are still out there. Darlene Lewis from K98 Radio. Darlene, how did they finally wind up?
Well, we had, in the races, the first raft to finish in the races was 36 seconds. And the last raft is probably still out there, so we don't have the official time on that one just yet. But we had a lot of fun, exciting rafts out there, from everything from shark busters to belly busters to ghost busters, you name it. We had them out there today.
Rumor has it with the Ghostbusters raft, there was even some green slime slung at a few judges.
Yeah, the 24 crew slimed us. We disqualified them. No, just kidding. But we had a great time out there, too, Peter.
5,000 boats and no problems.
No, 5,000 participants. We had over 500 rafts in the race, but we had 5,000 participants, and we had a good time out there. It was exhausting. The wind gave us a little trouble there for a while, but for the most part, it settled down, and everything went smoothly after that.
Now tell me, who did you award for the best creative?
It went to the Viking ship. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. I think they put a lot of work into it, and it really showed today, and they've got the best overall today in the raft race.
Darlene Lewis from K98, thank you very much. Now, later on tonight, this is country western night, so put on your boots and get ready to go out and dance your little night away. We've got some activities tonight, and who will be performing? Well, a big act. Tanya Tucker will be on the feature stage. There's lots of room over there, so please check that out. On the country and western stage, Carl Hutchins Band, and then over on the rock stage, that's where me and my photographer will hang out all night, the Cautious Dreams Group. Over at the Beer Garden, another famous spot there where people like to go, Grimalkin, group called Grimalkin. Finally at the Austin stage, Nightbird, and finally over here on our Midway stage, which is right behind me, a group called High Exposure. So as you can see, we don't have much activity yet, but in about 30 minutes from now, things will open up, and if it's anything like last night, you know, I saw Mary Lou Retton win the gold medal. She did a terrific job. But there were still people out here. I think they just saw her win, and they come running out here to see Aquafest, and there should be that many people tonight. So that's it from here. Peter Jones reporting live from Auditorium Shores. Pat?
Okay, Peter, looks like you're having a lot of fun. Thank you. In Los Angeles today, police have arrested a man in connection with an Olympic bomb threat. Yesterday, police raided the man's house, finding black powder, detonators, smoke grenades, and an automatic weapon. Under arrest is 26-year-old Richard Cole, a licensed pyrotechnician. Cole is thought to be more of an explosives buff than a terrorist, but Los Angeles police aren't taking any chances. Cole is in jail tonight under $200,000 bail. Today, the fighting in Lebanon's second largest city has stopped, if only for a while. Last night, rival Muslim militias in the northern port city of Tripoli traded mortar and grenade fire that left at least 3 people dead. Most of the city's residents were forced to spend the night in underground shelters, but the fighting came to a halt early this morning because students in the city had to take their final exams before graduation. Does President Reagan have a secret plan to raise taxes or not? Well, Walter Mondale says the president has such a plan, and it's going to cost a bundle. However, the president says he doesn't have a plan to raise taxes, but says his opponent does. In his weekly radio broadcast, the president said Mondale would have to raise taxes by a total of $135 billion in order to make a sizable dent in the federal deficit. The president noted that's a tax increase of about $1,500 for every American household. As for his own plans, Reagan says he will not propose an increase in personal income taxes and will veto any such bill that comes across his desk. Well, today it looked like those rain clouds were surrounding the city for a while. Troy is up next to tell us what may be in store for us. Stay with us.
When you eat out, is something missing?
I'll have the special, juicy and rare.
Here, anything juicy is rare.
Then come to Coco's and taste what you've been missing. Like one of our 10 delicious burgers. Better because they're fresh. Or our garden fresh taco salad. It's all yours with a smile at Coco's down-to-earth prices.
More coffee? She doesn't miss a thing.
And if you love beef, you'll love Coco's new Beef Lovers menu.
This is story of how Slavovia team arrived to U.S. Los Angeles Olympics, driving through Texas Austin when Bumsky truck breakdown. Lucky for us, this happened in front of Hanna Chevrolet, famous American car store. Oh, that me. He's lucky because Hina has Go with Winter sale now till August 13th. So many cars and trucks and sale tax. Oh, these prices not found in Slavovia. It takes no time to find new truck. Now, drive.